Hello, this is Manish Patel from the EII Capital Group. Today is December 19th, 2010. This is our weekly Ichimoku analysis for the global markets, where we'll cover everything from the US, then we'll go to Europe, and then we'll go to Asia. Okay, so let's, before we begin, almost forgot, normal procedures. Just a disclaimer to state that basically this is for educational use only. All charts are either in Thinkorswim, TradeStation, or FreeStockCharts.com. Here are our contact details. You can follow us on Ichimoku Trading under Twitter. Okay, so let's go straight and start looking at global markets first. Okay, so we're going to go to freestockcharts.com. I'm going to start looking at Europe first. Let's go look at Frankfurt, and let's go look there. Remember, this was bullish trending. Let's go look at the weekly, because that gives you a bigger picture. If you look at the bullish, it's basically still bullish trending. It's gotten to a major resistance value here, and now the question is what's going to happen. It got to major resistance value last week. It kind of bounced off there, but this is still bullish trending. No minor pullbacks needed as far as the lower time frames are concerned, but this is still bullish trending. Okay, if you go look at the London, it's not as strong as the German index if you look at it, because it's here right at the top and just kind of forming that little double top, double, triple top here, and the question is what's going to happen here. This is at a major resistance as far as the FTSE is concerned in the London index. So and then if you come down here to Paris, if you look at Paris, Paris is not even close to where London is or Germany, so it's weaker of all the markets out there. Okay, so if you're definitely looking at Paris trading, I definitely would maybe still keep on looking at the German market and then maybe short the Paris market as far as Paris trading is concerned. If you don't know what Paris trading is, just go to ichimokutrade.com and there's videos there on Paris trading. Before we go over there, yeah, let's after we do that, let's now go to Asia. Let's go look at the Indian market. If you look at the Indian market, it's between the Tinkinson and Kijun-sen. So you know, that's basically got to a medium pullback. Now it's hanging around between the Tinkinson and Kijun-sen. So the 2000 level is definitely a resistance level here, and close to about 19,250 is a support level for the Indian market, but it's basically going nowhere right now. It's just consolidating. If you look at the Hong Kong market, same scenario. It looks a little more bearish than the Indian market. Reason why is it still hasn't sat there and got to Kijun-sen and bounced off there. So right now the Indian market's consolidating. This guy's still in pullback mode as far as the Ichimoku indicators are concerned. Okay, so there's Hong Kong. Let's go to Sydney. Sydney looks like it's getting strong. So Australian market looks like it's getting strong now compared to the others. It looks like it's trying to get to its resistance level here, 48.85. Compared to before in the last 2 weeks. Okay, so this definitely looks strong right now as far as Asia is concerned. And then let's go, and we got Tokyo market to cover. Tokyo market, remember we kept on talking about the Nikkei going up, and basically it is going up. It got to the cloud. Now we need a pullback here to come down, and then if it does a pullback and then breaks for this pivot over here, this definitely will start a bullish trend to the top side, and hopefully the Nikkei market could get to its 11,000 level, but that'll be interesting to see. But we gotta definitely look for that in the next couple of weeks. Let's go over to Shanghai. If you look at Shanghai, it's basically in the cloud and between the Tinkinson and Kijun-sen. So this is probably weakest of you know, outside the Nikkei market, this is the weakest of all the markets compared to all the others from Hong Kong and Indian and so forth. So that's that there. And let's go to the Brazilian market. You can see the Brazilian markets between the Tinkinson and Kijun-sen too on the weekly. Notice majority of the markets out there in Asia and Europe are between the Tinkinson and Kijun-sen, so they're in a pullback. The only one that isn't is the German market. Okay, so now let's go and look at the U.S. markets and start analyzing that. Okay, so let's go and look at the NASDAQ. We're going to look at NASDAQ futures because that's where we always start off with. Let's go look at the weekly time frame. This looks like the German market. It's still bullish trending. However, it's sitting there at the top here, and it looks like we're at a major resistance level there, and basically it's doing a little pullback on the lower time frame, but it's still bullish trending as far as the weekly is concerned. If you look at here, it looks like it's hitting here, just pulling back a little. Still hasn't penetrated the Tinkinson on the weekly, daily, so this is still very strong. Okay, so let's go and look at the Dow futures. Dow futures are strong too. Notice they're above the Tenkan-sen and it's still pretty much up there. Notice it's still very, very strong. Dow futures are. Let's go look at the ES futures. ES futures are up there too. So all of them are up there now as far as US markets are concerned. They really haven't popped out, but they just barely have broken that resistance level, turned into support, and just hanging around now as far as that is concerned. Let's go look at some of the daily time frames for these guys. If you look at the daily, the ES still hasn't broken the Tenkan-sen at all. NASDAQ still hasn't, and if you look at the Dow futures hasn't even at all. One thing interesting is Friday was basically a no eventful day for the Dow, but for the NASDAQ, look at that, it kind of closed a little lower from where it opened, and for the ES it basically closed neutral. So the NASDAQ was a little weak, but not that much, and not anything to tell on as far as the daily is concerned. And lastly, let's go look at the TF futures, which is the Russell index, is still strong, bullish on the daily. And let's go look at the weekly. And the weekly still is very, very strong. In fact, better than the NASDAQ right now. So the small caps have kind of taken over more than technology right now. So basically, the summary is that the U.S. markets and German markets are very, very strong as far as Asia. And South America are very weak right now. Well, not weak, but they're pulling back basically between the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen on the weekly time frame. That's it for this week's. One more thing I forgot to talk about. If you go to Ichimoku Trade and sign up for our heat map service, we do have a lot of the international ETFs there now under the Ichimoku rating system, along with all the markets from small caps to large caps, from Vanguard, you could see there, to iShares, and so forth. So we've got a lot of stuff now in the heat map there that's available for a heat map, our Ichimoku rating system, and you could kind of look at it as a scanner that you could go and see where opportunities lie. If basically you get an 8 on any of the daily or weekly ratings, that's basically telling you that it's already trending to the bullish side. If you get a -8, that's telling you that you're trending to the bearish side. So what we do in EII is look for opportunities that are 5, 6, and 7, and then they basically get on our radar, and we start looking for opportunities there, especially if the weekly over here is matching up to the time frame there. If they're not, then basically we're in counter trend strategies for Ichimoku. That's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good week trading. Thanks.